But there's a staircase here, and there's no sign saying don't go up, so guess what we're gonna do? Good morning, friends. So it is Bimini today. I went up to the top deck and looked around. Weather's kind of wonky, so I'm not sure exactly, like, as far as the beach and stuff is concerned. It's a little bit chilly, I feel like. But anyway, I wasn't planning on going to the beach today. Last time I was here, I did the Resorts World excursion, which was super nice, and a lot of people opt to do the beach in Bimini. But, you know, people were talking about the weather and that there isn't a whole lot to do outside of that. So I'm debating if I want to, even get off. I think I might go down and at least take the shuttle around. They have a shuttle that'll take you to different places on the island. And so that can kind of be like a little bit of a tour, if you will. And then I guess we'll go from there. But good morning, friends. I will, of course, take you with me. We'll see what we see and do what we do. And we'll talk soon. So I actually did go down to the gangway and got off the ship, and the weather was okay when I first got off, so I took some footage of the pier and the side of the ship and everything, because of course this is the first time I'd seen the ship without a cruise terminal building in front of it. We were the only ship there, which was nice. I think Bimini has space for 2 ships, or it could just be the one berth, I'm not sure. But either way, I made my way down to the end of the pier, where they have the shuttles that pick you up and stuff, and that's when the weather took a turn for the worst. It started pouring down rain on us, and I was like, I don't really want to get on a tram that's open air while it's raining sideways. So I made my way back down to the side of the ship, and I was still debating if I wanted to kind of wait it out and see if the weather cleared up. But unfortunately, the rain remained pretty steady, and there weren't a whole lot of places to seek shelter, so I decided it was time to get back on the ship. The choppy water was causing the ship to move back and forth a little bit, which was a little bit scary for those of us standing on the gangway, and then the rain intensified, which got me pretty wet, but before I knew it, I was back on the ship and making my way through security and on my way over to the elevator. So one thing that's super interesting about the layout of this ship, the Celebrity Infinity, is they actually have the main elevator bay on the side of the ship, and that gives us access to this side window, which is super interesting. Doors opening. From there, it was time for some food, so I made my way into the buffet, which was on deck 10. The food on Celebrity Infinity was very, very good, and the buffet was adequately sized and easy to navigate and all that. So I put together a plate of randomness or whatever, and then I sat down in my usual spot and was immediately approached by a bartender who got me a beer. And I ate and checked out the view before deciding what to do next. All right, so I'm heading down to my room real quick. I'm taking the stairs because this is my exercise when I'm on a cruise ship. And I'm also gonna go do a few laps around the jogging track here in a little bit. But yeah, gotta stay in shape. We'll talk soon. All right, so I'm back in the room. I got this letter/waiver from the Shore Excursions team because tomorrow I have booked the VIP behind the scenes tour of the ship. It's supposed to take me into the galley of the restaurant to see how the food is prepared. It's supposed to go down into the engine room and also up to the bridge if weather permits. The reason why weather matters for the bridge is if there's weather, they are a lot more on high alert and have to be paying better attention than if we're in, calm, open waters. So I'm hoping the bridge portion doesn't get canceled. Weather is a little bit weird down here in the Caribbean at the moment, so hopefully we get to go up to the bridge. The note says that there's no videotaping, but we can take pictures, so I'm excited that I'll be able to put pictures of the engine room and behind the scenes in the galley and hopefully the bridge for you all, and I'll share my thoughts on the tour and all of that tomorrow. So that's exciting. They haven't had those available because of COVID, but now that the protocols are basically non-existent anymore, those things are coming back. I do have to wear a mask on the bridge if we go, which is fine. We don't want to get the people driving the ship sick or anything like that. So I'm happy to comply. But anyway, super cool. More about that tomorrow, of course. But yeah, for now, I'm just gonna drop off my stuff that I took down to Bimini with me, and then go find something to do around the ship. So we leave in about what is it? it's 12:30, so we leave in about 2 hours. We're all aboard is 2:30, so yeah, not much more time left in Bimini either way. And as soon as I got out there, it started raining, so I was like, of course. But I did walk around the, pier and, look at the different areas and things that were immediately available. I think next time I'm in Bimini, I will book an excursion. There are all kinds of cool excursions here, so that seems like the way to go. There's no, cruise port area that you could just walk around and explore. It's more of just housing and hotels and beachfront resorts and things. So yeah, now I know. But anyway, that's it for now. We'll talk soon. So I made my way up to Rendezvous, which is like a lounge that's off of the atrium area. And while most of the bars on board are fully open bars, I felt like this one had the biggest selection of everything. But unfortunately, they weren't open when I went down there. So I just kind of walked through and said hi to the bartender who was getting everything set up and all of that. And then went up to the pool deck for a drink up there instead. As I mentioned in the previous episode, I actually found my watering hole and bartender on the pool deck. It was actually the upper pool bar, which was called the Mass Bar, I believe. And shout out to the bartender Ivan there for hooking me up with some great drinks and good conversation. And I started with a cocktail, but ultimately switched to Dos Equis, as I tend to do. When I first got up there, the rain had pretty much stopped and the deck was pretty dry, but while I was sitting there, another cloud came in, and that forced all of us to more or less rethink our seating situation because we were getting pretty soaked at that point. So we had a weather system come through and just soak the ship with rain. So that's a thing. Weather in the Caribbean is a little bit unpredictable right now. I'm hoping, because we're getting ready to leave Bimini, I'm hoping that it's not too bumpy of a ride. The water looks pretty choppy, so we'll see how that goes. It's just the time of year. Obviously, weather is, different in the fall, winter than it is in the summer. So anyway, that's what's up. Also, my Apple Watch just notified me that I haven't done a lot of activity today, and so that seems like a good sign to go spend some time on the walking track and getting some steps in. Anyway, so that's what's up. We'll talk soon. So I made my way up to the walking track, which I believe is on deck 11. I could be mistaken, but luckily the weather held up while I made 2 or 3 laps around there, and I got sort of a 360 view of the area that we were in. And while I was up there, we started to sail away, so I wanted to make sure I got some footage of Bimini Island and everything before we actually left the dock. And even with the weather, it was definitely beautiful up there, but I decided to make my way down into the inside of the ship to get some footage of the Emporium shops and stuff, and especially since they weren't open at the time, it was really easy to show the layout and all the different variety of shops they had, which were actually quite a few. And that's also where they have the entrances to Michael's Club, which is the lounge that's exclusive to suite guests, and maybe even the high level of the loyalty program or whatever, however it works on Celebrity. And this is where you'll find the logo shop and duty free, so if you want any sort of celebrity branded stuff or alcohol or even toiletries and supplies like that, they have a sort of general store section as well. But from there I was feeling pretty hungry, so I made my way up to the pool deck where they had sort of a bar and grill where you could get burgers and things like that. When you have late dining, you have to have a little bit of a snack between lunch and dinner, so that's what I'm doing. Burger with fries. We'll talk soon. After my late lunch, I made my way down into the casino because it hadn't opened up yet. Normally, you're not allowed to film in the casino, but if all the machines are shut down because we're in port, you can actually usually get away with filming in there without them giving you too many issues about it. And this casino is pretty well equipped. You can tell that the crowd that they're attracting is a bit of a gambling crowd. And then from there, I decided to go out to the lifeboat deck. All right, so we're out at sea. It's not the smoothest water ever, as you can see, but the ship itself is actually pretty stable right now, so I'm good with that. I have a martini. This is a dirty vodka martini. They have a full martini bar on this ship, and if you have the premium beverage package, all that's included. If you have the classic, their cheaper one, you have to pay per martini. But they have everything from just, classic martini up through the espresso and all the fruity ones. So anyway, but isn't this pretty? This is awesome. There's also a sitting area over here. I think it's for smokers or whatever, but there's a staircase here. And there's no sign saying don't go up, so guess what we're gonna do? We are going up the staircase. It's so weird to me to be like on, you know, the lower decks and being outside and exploring. Let's see where this leads. All right, so we've got whatever these things are, and a pretty, you know, normal kind of pathway, and there's a door there, so I'm assuming that leads me into somewhere in the interior of the ship. But yeah, we are exploring the ins and outs of this ship, aren't we? So for reference, that door takes us into the entrance to Blue, which is the restaurant for the Aqua class people, which is a special class you can book on this ship, on Celebrity in general. That's like kind of, I guess, like the spa access class. But that's where it leads. We'll talk soon. From there, I decided to try the coffee shop on board because I saw that they had boozy coffees. I didn't really like the first one I got, but then I tried this Tito's infused martini, and that was super, super good. And then from there, I went over to Rendezvous where they had live music.
You know that love survives, so we can run forever.
So, you know, there's no like formal night or anything on this cruise, but so like I've got, well, from what I've been told, we'll find out. So I've got like a polo and I'm wearing long pants and my nice hashtag fancy shoes, and everybody thinks I made an effort to, like, you know, dress up. But the truth is, these shoes were easier to put on than the tennis shoes that I took off. So, cheers to that. Cheers to keeping it simple, right? We'll talk soon. I have to say, these are very white-capped waves, right? It's not a still night here out on the ocean, in the Caribbean at least. And this ship is handling very well. So the stabilizers and whatever the crew are doing to minimize the movement is working. And I appreciate that. As someone who gets sick pretty easily, I appreciate it. We'll talk soon. After that, I went over to the theater because they had a theater show that night. I didn't really love the theater performances on this cruise, but they weren't bad by any means. And on this first sailing, we actually got to meet, obviously, the cruise director, but also some of the officers on board as well. The captain came out and addressed everyone, which I thought was super cool. And then, yeah, it was showtime.
Waiting for this moment to arrive. There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, though some remain. Dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all.
The second in charge of the entire vessel is our staff captain. Please welcome Staff Captain Harris. One of the biggest departments on board is our hotel department. We are in a 5-star floating hotel, and of course any great hotel needs a director. So please welcome our hotel director, Mr. Veteran. Oh, he's schmoozing. Is that everybody? Did I forget someone? I forgot one. Of course. I forgot our captain. The captain who's going to boldly take you where no captain has taken you before. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our captain, your captain, Captain Kirk!
I would like to welcome you on board. I know I saw some of you in the theater, and I know I'll see some of you in the next show at 9 o'clock, but As some of you will choose not to go to the theater, I would like to welcome you officially here on board on the Grand Foyer.
I did end up going to dinner after this. They had the officer meet and greet every night after the theater show, but yeah, so at dinner I didn't seem to take any photos of the food that I ate, but I did hit it off with my table mates, and we all decided to go to the silent disco together. So shout out to Tia and Daniel from my Celebrity Infinity dining table. They were this really nice young couple from Quebec, Canada, and of course shout out to the others around us as well for putting up with late night drunk Travis and for hanging out with me after dinner. Alright y'all, so it is time for bed. First off, obviously paperwork and whatever, but look how he put the chocolates. He did this cool little like fold with the blanket and put the chocolates over there. I think that's adorable. So anyway, it's time for bed. Today was a great day. Bimini was a little bit of a bust, but you know, we got to see bits and pieces of it. If you're ever going to Bimini, I think I mentioned this earlier, but like book an excursion, go do a thing. But anyway, yeah, so it's been an interesting day. I've met a lot of cool people, talked to some people at bars and such. And, you know, tomorrow's the sea day. I'm going to sleep in a little bit. And then all kinds of activities happening tomorrow. I need to talk to the cruise director. I haven't yet. I sort of met him tonight, but, you know, it was at Silent Disco when I was dancing around and being crazy. So, yeah. But anyway, bedtime. I want to thank you all for traveling with me. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. We'll talk soon, and y'all have a good night.